Hello everyone, my name is Judy Dennison and I'm the Manager for the Defence Industry Facilitation team in the Centre for Defence Industry Capability, known as the CDIC. I'd like to welcome you to the Stepping into Defence Industry webinar. This is an interactive presentation that is relevant to any Australian businesses that is keen to do work in the defence industry sector. Amongst other things, this particular presentation is going to provide you with an overview of the defence industry landscape, the services that are available through the CDIC for you, and the key areas that you will need to know about in order to do business with defence. Today we're going to hear several short presentations by a number of my colleagues, all of whom will be introduced to you very shortly. Topics are going to include the introduction to the Defence Industry Facilitation team. We're going to have a look at some of the services provided by the Business Advisory team. And then we're going to have a look at some of the pivotal areas within defence, including the Estate and Infrastructure Group and Capability Acquisition and Sustainment Group. You will have noticed that your audio and video has been turned off. However, this presentation is interactive, so please use the question and answer box to type in any questions that you may have. Once the presentation has been delivered, the question and answer session will commence. We will definitely try to answer as many of the questions as we can, but we are probably not going to be able to get around to all of them. If that is the case, what we will try to do is get in touch with you offline to make sure that we actually do respond to your questions. We will also ask that you participate in a poll after the question and answer session to find out how you found this particular webinar. Your feedback is pivotal so that we can continue to provide you with the content that you need to understand about the defence industry landscape and the CDI services going forward. So before we get underway, I think it's helpful for you to understand who it is that's delivering this session. We are all from the Centre for Defence Industry Capability, which is also, as I said, known as the CDIC. The CDIC was launched in 2016 with its primary purpose to strengthen the capability of defence industry and Australian businesses to meet defence requirements. We do this by providing free industry facilitation and business advisory services, a series of grant programs, and we also provide export support through our global supply chain program. How do we do all of that? Well, we help you navigate the defence market through our national network of defence industry facilitators and business advisors. We enable you to connect with other businesses as well as with defence. We can advise you how to improve your competitiveness and access the global markets and provide grants to help you invest in your defence-related capabilities. The CDIC understands the barriers that you're facing, and we know that they are significant, and we do understand that defence is a very, very complex and demanding customer. But we can help you to understand where you need to invest your time and how to position yourselves for success. Now I'm going to hand over to the team who's going to take you through the various components of this presentation. Janet, over to you.
Thanks, Judy. I'm Janet Kosick and I'm the facilitator here in the Northern Territory. You'll hear from the majority of us today. We're based all around Australia and I'd like to introduce the team to you now. In Queensland, we have Damien Bushell. In New South Wales, we have Peter Kovac. And in our ACT Southern New South Wales office, we have Alison Everett. In our Victorian Tasmanian office, we have Paul Saker. In South Australia, James Farrell. And in WA, we have Paul Hosey. And of course, you've already heard from our National Manager, Judy Dennison. We are the Department of Defence's representatives here within the CDIC, and we have been seconded across to bring our network of knowledge and relationships to help facilitate the relationship between defence and industry. We are a diverse and highly experienced team made up of former and current members of the Australian Defence Force, procurement, contract, and project managers, including small business owners. We understand the barriers you are facing are significant, and we absolutely acknowledge that the Department of Defence is a demanding customer. We can help you identify where you need to invest your time and how to position yourselves for success due to our expertise and reach back within the department, including the department's projects, prime contractors, research institutes, other government agencies and industry associations. We will help you navigate the defence marketplace, including the right entry points, improve your understanding of the capability lifecycle, understand the procurement processes you are now working under to succeed as a supplier in the defence supply chains, plus identify Defence's capability areas that are relevant to your business. However, first, I'd like to give you an overview of the Defence Industry Facilitation team. Our services are free and are geared towards you, Australia's small to medium enterprises. As you have seen on an earlier slide, today's webinar covers a broad suite of topics that, as facilitators, we see on a daily basis, from businesses stepping into defence for the first time or coming back after not working in our industry for a while. These presentations will build on your understanding of where you and your business currently are and where you need to be within the defence landscape. The CDIC will help you build on your awareness. Do you know what capability Defence needs? Have you read the 2016 White Paper or the Integrated Investment Plan or even an Industrial Capability Plan? Are you aware of the projects that are in your industry sector or in your location? Are you aware of the projects that are coming down the pipeline? The CDIC will also help you work out what sort of business you want from Defence and its primes. What are you looking for? And do you have also the right ISOs, security and risk matrix? Whereabouts do you want to be within the Defence project supply chain? And if you have your own, how broad and robust is it? We're here to help you engage with Defence and its primes. Where does your product or service fit? What question are you asking with that product or service? Is it directly with Defence or is it via a prime? These are just the types of conversations and a few of the questions in which we would have with you. And this is also why the CDIC's Defence Industries Facilitation Service team will be an excellent resource as you continue your journey going forth. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet. Dwayne will now speak to you about the services the Business Advisory Services team can offer you.
So, hello to everyone who's listening to this Stepping into Defence webinar. My name is Dr. Dwayne Kirk. A little bit of background, I joined the CDIC in 2016 when it launched as a Defence Business Advisor, and since about the middle of 2018 I've been managing the Defence Business Advisory team. So my goal in the next few minutes is to give you just a bit of an overview about the Defence Business Advisory team, what we do and how we work with businesses. So firstly, let me just introduce the team briefly. We currently have 14 Defence Business Advisors, and they bring two very different but important skill sets to how we work with businesses. Of significant interest is that within our team we have about 135 years of experience serving in uniform for Navy, Army or Air Force. And if I think about team members who've been Defence civilian, public servants and also time in reservists, we have almost 180 years of experience inside the ADF. That's important for businesses because it means we understand the end user environment where your product or service will be used by the Defence Forces. So that's very important. It also means that we bring 180 years worth of network experience into Defence. So as we're helping businesses try to navigate those opportunities, we're able to tap back into those networks that we've built up over that time to help understand and confirm the need and the application for technologies or services that businesses are developing. The other skill set that's critically important to what we do is understanding commercialisation, business management and operations in a manufacturing production sense. So we have significant expertise within our team in those areas, and it's that combined with the Defence context, which is the value that we bring when working as an advisor with individual businesses. The team that we have is distributed around the country. but we don't necessarily assign an advisor to a business on the basis of geography. Our philosophy is to try and find the right advisor to assign to the right business at the right time, depending on the size and shape and the technology of that business. So it's not necessarily that the person who's local, in your case, the little red dot on the map, may not be the person who's best suited to work with your business. And during COVID, we've actually got the opportunity to, because we're working a lot more by phone and video these days, to actually bring more than one advisor to help work with businesses in the key stages of our engagement. Next, I'd like to just briefly describe for a business what to expect when working with one of our advisors. There's a couple of things that we're looking for. First, and perhaps fundamentally, is alignment to the needs in defence. So we're interested in, first of all, understanding what is the product and service, and who, importantly, within defence cares about it. Who's going to be the end user, and what feedback and information have they already given to the business to confirm that there's a need and an opportunity there. So that's kind of the tick in the box that we need to get started. The nature of the relationship between an advisor and the business is very much built on trust. So we operate within the Department of Industry. Although the CDIC is a program funded by the Department of Defence, we operate within the Department of Industry so that we can really have a warts and all conversation with the business. So we need to understand everything that the business is going through from a management sense, from a performance and operational sense, so that we can be honest and open with the business about where we see opportunities to improve. So we operate under privacy requirements, code of conduct. All advisors carry security clearances, and it's really so that we can establish that trust feeling and relationship, the professional business relationship between the advisor and the business. The next two topics very quickly really relate to our core service and how we spend our time with the business. Firstly, we have diagnostic tools, largely that we run by interview with the business. They may be in topics such as cybersecurity. We have a fundamentally general tool that we use with businesses, and within that tool we look at a wide range of aspects within the business to try and find both where the business has a strength, but also where it could improve over the coming 12 to 24 months. What that leads to in terms of value for the business is recommendations from our advisors, and we do that principally in three categories. We try to identify the major core actions that a business could consider in terms of how to improve the innovative potential of the business, or its sustainability, or its profitability. So those core actions are kind of the big meaty projects that we identify in partnership with the business. We'll often identify quick wins, which are short activities that the business can undertake with its existing resources. And we'll often try to identify future opportunities. So things that we think the business should be thinking about in 12 to 24 months, but may not be ready for at this particular stage in its journey. Second last, one of the, I guess, services that we provide to business is often just being another set of commercial eyes for grant applications that are going into the defence programs. So we have a breadth of commercial experience within the team. So looking at your draft proposal to see if for example, if the value proposition has been well articulated, that's of benefit to defence when they receive your proposal, to be able to understand clearly what it is that you're offering and why they should care about it. So we make ourselves available to just be another pair of eyes to look over those proposals. Lastly, in terms of what to expect when working with us, we have a formal engagement period, but we're always at the end of the phone. So if a business has a question or something in how it's operating with defence, is posing a challenge, then we're always on the end of the phone to try and help where we can. So even if it's not a formal engagement phase, that's the connection that we're trying to establish between the business and the advisor. So lastly from me, I'd like to just give a flavour of what it is that we're looking for when we're working with business. And this is mostly around the general diagnostic that we use with the business. Of course, we first want to confirm the commercial strategy that the business is pursuing, where its product is going to fit within defence, and how that relationship with the defence buyer is being developed. But then there's things within the business that we want to understand, and it's really to help the business make its way up the curve of aspiring to supply into defence, all the way through to becoming a dependable and consistent supplier of products and new products and services into defence. So some of the things that we're looking for along the way, on the way up that slope, we're looking to see that businesses have a written strategy. Doesn't need to be a detailed strategic plan, but at least something on a page that says this is where we are and this is where we want to go. We're looking for businesses who are serious about quality systems and ensuring improvements in their performance get locked into a quality system, not just for certification, but actually how it's practically implemented in the business. We're looking for businesses that are finely attuned to their financials. They understand where their costs are within the business, that they understand where their profit comes from, and that they use financial management tools to maintain that awareness as the business goes. The last one I'll mention very quickly is lean principles. So we're interested in businesses that are regularly seeking opportunity to become more efficient and more productive. And businesses will often look at lean as a bit of a hurdle, but it doesn't need to be that difficult. There are ways to step into it with just small steps to begin with. And that's some of the experience that our advisors bring when working with businesses. So hopefully that gives you just a little bit of a blend, an understanding of what it is that we do as an advisor when we work with a business. And so we look forward to working with your business when you're at that right point to engage with us in your journey stepping into defence. Thank you.
Many thanks, Dwayne. Next, Damien will have a talk about the defence industry landscape.
Hi, I'm Damien Bushell, the Defence Industry Facilitator for Queensland, and today I'll be taking you through the defence industry landscape. As you know, the first and perhaps most important thing in business is to have a good understanding of your customer. This part of the webinar will take you through defence as a customer. The Australian Defence Force consists of 3 services: the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. They train and they conduct operations at the government's direction. Each of these services can be different in their own way, and in many cases, they can also be very similar. Each service has a responsibility for their capability, be it in the maritime, land, or air environments. The services are the end users, and therefore they have a say in the types of capabilities that are brought online. It is their people that will specify the types and requirements as they are the end users. The Department of Defence supports the Australian Defence Force with everything that is required for them to achieve their mission. Defence is divided into 9 distinct groups, and each of these groups provide a distinct capability that provides support to the Australian Defence Force. You can see the 9 groups on the slide. Please take the time to read through this list. Defence is one of the largest and most diverse departments in the Commonwealth. As you can see by the number of groups, the Department of Defence is a large and complex client. Navigating the maze of groups can be daunting for the first-timer. An important role of the CDIC is to assist businesses and provide advice on how to navigate this large, complex, and diverse department. This webinar is an example of how we can assist businesses when it comes to working with defence. Defence is not motivated by profit. It's motivated by capability, quality, reliability, safety, and the ability to synchronise with current and future systems. Defence will expect your product or service to be the best in the world. It must be reliable and work first time and every time, and operate in diverse and austere environments. Failure is not an option. Chief amongst the groups that support the Australian Defence Force is the Capability, Acquisition and Sustainment Group, commonly known as CASG. CASG is the key delivery agency for defence capability and partners with defence industry to meet the ADF military equipment and supply requirements. In financial year 2018 and 2019, CASG spent more than $14.7 billion acquiring and sustaining military equipment and service equipment to the Australian Defence Force. To do this, CASG employs nearly 5,000 people in around 70 locations in Australia and also overseas. CASG is the responsible agency for the vast majority of the large defence programs, which you have no doubt heard of. And some of these are the Joint Strike Fighter program, the Hunter-class frigate, the Attack-class submarine, which is also referred to as the Future Submarine program, the sustainment of the Collins-class submarine, which is the existing in-service submarine capability, and the Land 400 Boxer combat reconnaissance vehicle. In addition to these large acquisition programs, CASG has many more acquisition and sustainment projects on the go at any given time. The important thing to note is that CASG partners closely with industry, from micro businesses to small to medium enterprises, through to major international defence primes to deliver and sustain the capability in support of the ADF. All businesses, large and small, have a role to play in defence industry. Finding opportunities is key to your success in building your presence in the defence marketplace. I've mentioned a few resources that are available to you, such as AusTender, the Industry Capability Network, or ICN, defence, media, and also the various industry associations. On this slide, we have a list of some additional resources, and this list is by no means exhaustive. There are others. I would, however, focus on these as a start point as you build your knowledge and become more familiar with their content and defence industry. Research and doing your homework is critical when engaging with defence. And remember, the CDIC has a role to play and we can assist where required. A simple phone call or meeting can resolve or answer your questions. So remember, the CDIC is also an important resource for you. Later on in the presentation, we'll have a slide with all the details on how you can get in contact with us.
Thanks, Damien. Next, Jim Farrell will talk to you about the Estate and Infrastructure Group.
Hi, my name is Jim Farrell and I'm a Defence Industry Facilitator based here in South Australia. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Estate and Infrastructure Group, or commonly known to within Defence as ENIG. They are a consolidated service delivery organisation for Defence. The mission is to enable defence capability by working in partnership with clients to deliver integrated services through a highly capable workforce. The vision is to support defence capability and enable defence's priorities. In essence, ENIG provide essential on-the-ground services to support defence personnel throughout Australia, manage the development, maintenance and disposal of one of the largest real estate portfolios in Australia, are responsible for driving the integration of all enabling services through the service delivery division and regional programs, and efficiently deliver a range of shared services to Defence. The Guide to Doing Business with Defence Estate and Infrastructure Group highlights opportunities available and provides details about how to access them. Defence's ENIG Group is the area of Defence responsible for supporting the Australian Defence Force and the whole of Defence organisation in meeting their capability objectives by managing and sustaining the defence estate of land, buildings and infrastructure. They are the centre of service delivery in defence. ENIG delivers a range of services to defence organisations such as housing, maintenance and base support. The Estate and Infrastructure Group has an annual budget in excess of $5.5 billion with around 1,600 civilian staff and 140 military staff. The group also maintains environmental stewardship over 3.5 million hectares of land with more than 330 managed properties and maintains and operates more than 30,000 buildings. The gross replacement value of the estate around Australia is approximately $68 billion. The Estate and Infrastructure Group are made up of two divisions, Service Delivery Division and Infrastructure Division. The Service Delivery Division is the ENIG presence at defence bases and delivers a range of support services where defence works, trains and lives. It is important to note that most of these services are outsourced. Its responsibilities include supporting the ADF and the Department of Defence through the provision of personnel administration and related functions such as ADF housing, financial and travel services, and contracts that provide catering, cleaning and grounds maintenance services. Through the Infrastructure Division, ENIG manages and sustains the defence estate of land, buildings and infrastructure, including managing contracts for the construction of major new facilities and the repairs and maintenance of existing facilities, as well as the disposal of excess properties and environmental heritage policy. There are three prime service contractors that provide estate maintenance and operations services, commonly known as the EMOS contracts, around the country. Broad Spectrum deliver in South Australia, Northern Territory, Western Australia, Victoria and Tasmania. Spotless look after Queensland, the ACT, Southern New South Wales, BGIS look after Northern New South Wales. There is also the Defence Estate Works Program Office, also known as DUPO, who look after larger estate works. Under the DUPO contracts, there are two national contractors that look after our project delivery of those larger estate works. They are Agility and Oricon. Both EMOS and DUPO contractors have existing supply chains and both of those are open for others to join.
Many thanks, Jim. Next, we've got Peter Kodat, who's going to talk to you about the Chief Information Officer Group.
Hi, my name is Peter Kodat. I'm the Defence Industry Facilitator based in Sydney, and I will provide you with an overview of Chief Information Officer Group, also known as CIOG, the Standing Offer Panel, major projects, and how to engage with CIOG. The CIOG manages integrated design, delivery, and communications of single information environment in support of business and military operations. The single information environment covers information, computing, communication infrastructure, and people that deliver it. For ICT business support works, the CIOG uses Standing Offer Panel SON 3520191, which is also known as ICT-PA, Information Communication Technology Provider Arrangement. This panel was set up about 2 years ago, but currently is undergoing refresh. This refresh is to ensure that Standing Offer Panel provides up-to-date services, buying flexibility, and encourages competition. The Standing Offer Panel refresh also provides opportunity for those businesses that missed out in the first round and for new businesses that were unsuccessful last time. The CIOG is undertaking major transformational projects to ensure that they simplify, standardize, and modernize the ICT capability. The Terrestrial Communications Project is a multi-phase project which will modernize and improve the ICT communications. The DST, Defence Science Technology Group, is a key stakeholder within the integrated project team, and the Defence has partnered with Digital Transformation Agency and collaborates and engages with industry like Telstra and leaders. The course simulation capability is a project which will provide services and support for course simulation capability training for future defence. The course simulation capability training and support works will enable live and simulated training to link together for large complex operations and military joint operations training. The phase 1 has been awarded to Lockheed Martin, and this prime is being supported by NEC Australia and works closely with industry and SMEs. Lockheed Martin also uses IC and Gateway to engage with industry. The Enterprise Resource Planning System is a multi-phase project which will transform how defense uses its finances, human resources, maintenance, accounting, planning, and estate works. The phase 1, the design work, has been awarded to IBM Australia, and this expected $1 billion project might take 8 years to complete. How can you engage with CIOG? You should register with Ostenders, as Ostender is used by Defence and Commonwealth to engage with industry. You should also look at the ITC service panel, the panel that I mentioned earlier, SON 3520191, as there are over 130 panelists that are delivering work for defense. You should also check Defense Prime's websites and ICN Gateway, as this portal is advertising work packages for defense project works. You should also consider attending defense events, seminars, and conferences like MILSYS, Military Information and Communication Systems Conference, where you will meet like-minded people. You can raise your business profile and also expand your network. You will also be provided with the opportunity to see what technology and services is available in the market.
Many thanks, Peter. During our next segment, Jim Farrell is going to provide you with a high-level overview of procurement requirements. And if you'd like to find out more about procurement following this session, we actually have a webinar on tendering in defence. It's going to be held on the 11th of August.
Hi, Jim back again. I'm going to talk to you now about procurement in defence. Defence is the largest procurement agency in the Commonwealth and maintains some of the largest contracts ever contracted out. As a business, it's important to understand how Defence makes its approach to the market. A number of ways include the whole of government agreements. So where it meets a need, Defence will take part in a whole of government standing offer and agreement. Some examples of these include the lease plan commercial vehicle fleets and the QBT travel arrangements. Most defence opportunities will be released as open approaches to market through the AusTender website. AusTender provides a centralised publication of Australian government business opportunities, annual procurement plans, standing offer notices, multi-use lists and contracts awarded. The platform can act as a strong market research and analysis tool for businesses assessing the defence market and looking for subcontracting opportunities. Project industry briefings are also published on AusTender and can allow businesses to identify where their capabilities may fit in large projects and identify potential prime contractors. We have standing offer panels. This is an arrangement setting out the terms and conditions, including a basis for pricing, under which a supplier agrees to supply specified goods and services to Defence for a specified period. Defence uses standing offers as a convenient, flexible, streamlined and efficient process for acquiring goods and services on a regular and ongoing basis without the additional procurement process. These panels are established through open approaches to market and are often in place for 4 to 5 years or potentially longer. Limited tender procurement. This is a procurement based on quotes being sought directly from one or more suppliers. There are specific conditions governing the use of limited tenders. Generally, Defence will use a limited tender process for products and services that are required urgently, i.e. immediate in-theatre requirements, are only available from specific suppliers or for the procurement of compatible or original equipment manufacturer or OEM products and services. We have innovation procurements. The Defence Innovation System is built around 2 signature programs, the Next Generation Technologies Fund or NGTF and the Defence Innovation Hub, DIH. The focus of the Next Generation Technology Fund is on researching and emerging technologies, including those that are expected to deliver on a time horizon that may be greater than 10 years. The Defence Innovation Hub is focused on the development and maturation of technology into a commercialised product and acquisition. We'll be discussing innovation space in a little more detail a bit later. Indigenous procurement. Defence must consider the requirement of the Indigenous Procurement Policy, or IPP, in all procurement processes. There's a number of parts involved in this. We have a target number of contracts that need to be awarded to Indigenous businesses and a mandatory set aside of contracts for Indigenous businesses to apply in certain situations. Two of the areas we'll be concentrating on during this brief overview will be the open approach to market and the standing offer panel, both fully accessible to industry through the AusTender website. All government agencies, including Defence, are mandated to approach the market through the AusTender website. This website provides a centralised publication of Australian government business opportunities, annual procurement plans, standing offer notices and multi-use lists, and a register of awarded contracts. The platform can act as a strong market research and analysis tool for businesses assessing the defence market and looking for subcontracting opportunities. Looking at the AusTender website, one of the most common methods is the open approach to market. It is important for potential suppliers to understand the different methods of an approach to market. These include the RFI, RFP, RFT, and RFQ. I'll run through each of these now. RFI is our request for information. It's used for gaining information or preparation for a request for proposal, known as an RFP, or a request for quote, known as an RFQ. These RFIs form a strategy and building a database with a purpose to identify potential vendors. It is often used when there are many potential suppliers. Procurement may use an RFI to include a list of products for pricing requests. Sometimes it is used mainly for the registration of interest. The RFP, or request for proposal, is a formal method for receiving detailed and comparable proposals from potential suppliers. It is often the next stage in the procurement process where Defence will go to market for solutions-oriented approaches to service or product delivery. The RFT is a request for tender, and that is a formal invitation to potential suppliers to bid to supply clearly defined products. It is focused on price and quality. And finally, the RFQ is a request for quotation, and that's used when inviting potential suppliers to submit a bid on specific products or projects. The request is targeted primarily on pricing. Now we look at standing offers, and a standing offer is an arrangement setting out the terms and conditions, including a basis for pricing under which a supplier agrees to supply specified goods and services to Defence for a period. These panels are established through open approaches to market and are often in place for 4 to 5 years, sometimes longer. Whilst the panel is in place, your entry into this space will be through subcontracting to panel managers. Just going to give you a few hints and tips for procurement within Defence. Register your areas of interest on your AusTender profile and make sure that Defence is one of the agencies that you've expressed an interest in. Keep it broad so that you can capture any potential opportunities, and remember that AusTender contract notices can be used to find subcontracting opportunities. Download the standing offer panels. Businesses are interested in supplying Defence goods, and current services currently covered by a standing offer panel may find subcontracting opportunities through the current panelists while you wait for the panel to refresh. Considering that sustainment programs are typically long-term opportunities, check the AusTender records to identify the original equipment manufacturer, or OEM, or current sustainment contractors. You may be able to find opportunities through them.
Thanks, Jim. And now we're going to be hearing from Alison Everett, who's going to chat to you about innovation in Defence.
Hi everyone, my name is Alison Everett and I'm a Defence Industry Facilitator for the ACT and the Southern New South Wales regions. If you have disruptive or innovative technology that could enhance Defence capability, then your Defence step-in point is likely to be through the Defence Innovation programs. The Defence Innovation System is based around 2 signature programs, the Defence Innovation Hub and the Next Generation Tech Fund. The Next Generation Technologies Fund, known as the NGTF, is managed by the Defence Science and Technologies Group, commonly referred to as DST Group. This is a forward-looking program that focuses on research and development in emerging and future technologies and develops early ideas into innovation concepts. It includes technologies that are expected to deliver on a time horizon that may be greater than 10 years. The Next Generation Tech Fund research collaboration vehicles are on the screen now. They include things such as the Grand Challenges, Defence Cooperative Research Centres, University Research Networks, Strategic Research Programs, the Small Business Innovation and Research for Defence, or SBIRD program, Defence Research Accelerator, and the Technologies Future and Foresight. The majority of opportunities under the Next Generation Tech Fund will arise as special notices or calls for submissions with specific terms or themes. Unsolicited proposals are not accepted by the Next Generation Tech Fund, and you'll find a list of current Next Gen Tech Fund opportunities on the Defence Innovation dashboard. Just follow the Research in Defence tabs on the CDIC landing page. The Defence Innovation Hub is interested in ideas that are ready to enter the development stage of the innovation process. Projects fall within one of 4 distinct phases. Phase 1 is the concept exploration, Phase 2, technology demonstration, Phase 3, prototype systems, and Phase 4, the integrated capability development phase. The prerequisite for the Innovation Hub is that you will need to have an Australian business number or a New Zealand business number to submit a proposal to the Defence Innovation Hub. You will also need to be eligible to act on behalf of the business or the organisation named on the innovation proposal. The Defence Innovation Hub accepts proposals that either meet the identified defence innovation priorities, are or aligned with another of the capability streams, or maybe not aligned with any of the capability streams but offer defence opportunities to explore unexpected and unforeseen technologies and ideas. Here are the Defence Innovation Hub innovation and investment priorities. They are in order. So you have the intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, electronic warfare, space and cyber. Key enablers, which includes things such as critical infrastructure, information communication technology, health services, or even logistics. 3 is land combat, amphibious warfare and special operations. Strike and air combat is the next theme. Maritime anti-submarine warfare. And the 6th one is air and sea lift. If your innovation proposal does not fit into any of these 6 main capability areas, but you feel it would be of value to Defence to consider, submit your proposal under none of those listed category within the priority in innovation needs. It is important, however, that your idea is still related to Defence capability area. And this is in the area of unexpected or unforeseen technologies or ideas. The formal submission of a proposal is conducted through the Defence Innovation Hub dashboard, which you can find by following Innovating in Defence tab on the CDIC landing page. Just select the solicitation ID Hub 16 PIN SIF-001 to start your proposal. This solicitation is permanently open and you can submit your proposal at any time. It is important to understand that the Defence Innovation Hub program is a procurement program and subject to standard procurement rules and processes. Success through this program will result in your company receiving an innovation contract with Defence. Given this procurement process, it's also important to note that the CDIC is not part of the assessment process, and the assessment of your proposal will be conducted by the Defence Innovation Hub and the Defence Capability Managers. There are also other Defence innovation programs that may provide collaboration opportunities for organisations with disruptive and innovation technologies. They include Air Force's Plan Jericho, Army's Innovation Day and Navy's Autonomous Warrior. And if you've been following the recent announcements around the 2024 structure, you will know that the funding for these for the Next Generation Tech Fund and the Defence Innovation Hub has increased, and that a new program, Capability Acceleration Fund, will be launched by the middle of the decade. So how can the CDIC help you connect with these programs? The CDIC facilitators and advisors can assist you to develop your proposal or response including identifying which innovation program is the best pathway for your technology, providing guidance on assessment criteria, processes and timelines, and even templates. We can assist you to align your proposition to defence innovation priorities and advise on common errors or mistakes that people have made in their proposals. We can help you understand the defence innovation intellectual property and contractual frameworks and provide advice on commercialisation and production. So if you're looking to step into the defence through the research or innovation pathways, please contact your local CDIC Defence Industry Facilitator or Business Advisor and let us help you put your best foot forward. Now I'll hand back to Judy.
Thanks, Alison. Now I'll hand over to Damien Bushell, who's going to provide us with a summary on what we've covered today before we move on to our question and answer session.
Now we're at the end of the presentation. You should have an understanding of the CDIC with a brief introduction to the facilitation and the advisory services team. We also talked about the defence industry landscape, the structure of defence, and also the services of the Australian Defence Force. We then discussed the structure of defence and its 9 groups that support the 3 services. And then we went into detail on a couple of those groups, such as CASG, the Estate and Infrastructure Group, and the Chief Information Officer Group. Then we outlined procurement and how it's undertaken in defence and how it approaches the marketplace. Then we provided an outline on defence innovation and how the Defence Innovation Hub and the Next Generation Technology Fund operate and their roles regarding innovation in defence. And finally, we highlighted what resources are available to you. We at the CDIC appreciate that defence can be complicated and difficult to understand and navigate. And that is why we have outlined the resources available to you, such as the various industry associations, the Industry Capability Network, AusTender, Defence Policy and Plans, and lastly, the CDIC. At the end of this webinar, we have a slide that outlines how you can connect with the CDIC. Thanks, and I appreciate your time.